Hello everyone, welcome you all for the Startup Story series. My name is Guna, I'm a startup coach and the author of the book Startup Recipe. In this episode of Startup Stories, we have a special person with us, one of my good friend, Gagan Kapoor from Delhi. So the specialization of him is he has got 20 plus years of experience in events and exhibition industry and also 7 plus years experience in the training domain. And he has worked with top multinational companies all across the globe. And the latest news is they've launched a superb app which has been just launched a few weeks back, which will help all those exhibitors who are taking stalls and displaying their products in those exhibitions to manage their visitors' data and communicate to them immediately, instantly. So that's an advantage of that app, and they are the first people to come up with such an app. So that's one special thing. So we are going to learn a lot of entrepreneurial experiences, lot of tips, lot of suggestions, what mistakes, challenges, etc. from Gagan Kapoor today. So welcome Gagan for the show.
Hi, Guna, and hello everyone to everyone who is watching this particular show.
Thank you, Gagan, for joining us to share your entrepreneurial story. So, to start with, you told me that you worked for some company for more than 10 years and then you took a decision of jumping into entrepreneurship. Can you tell how does that happen? So, what made you to come into entrepreneurship?
Sure. So I worked for 10 years with an events and exhibitions company before I actually started my own business. And there were many reasons why I decided to take the switch from the job to my own company. For example, what happens is that when you are working in a company, you at any point of time want to do a lot of things. You have grown into that company. Your mind is now working, and you want to do a lot of new things, but you always get limited by something or the other. The company has a certain level of policy. They do want to do certain things. They do not want to do certain things. So you don't get that kind of a freedom. I did not have that kind of a freedom, and your growth becomes limited, and you feel that what the possibilities are endless outside, and I am not able to do all of that what I wanted to do. So that was one of the reasons why it happened to me. I also got passionate about a couple of very important topics about the exhibition and events, which I wanted to try out, which I wanted to test in the market. But again, it wasn't that much possible for me to do all of that in my previous organization in the bounds and limits of a certain thing. These were some of the reasons why I decided that, it's great that I've been working this company for 10 years, but to build more possibilities of my growth, to do something important for the events and exhibitions industry, I need to do something on my own. And that is how I started. And I decided to take the leap from a job to business.
Super. So that's not an easy decision to make, right? So it's like you would have had so many thoughts whether I should start entrepreneurship or not. So how much time you had this thought for? Immediately after this thought you jumped in, or like it was there for some time within you?
Well, I got. I think it's about a year and a half before the entire thing happened that I decided to jump
Okay.
onto this
Okay.
particular decision.
Okay.
So basically, when I decided to start my business in 2010, but the thought had come to me somewhere in 2008. But I wanted to be exactly sure how I'm going to go with it. What are the kind of finances I need? What are the kind of preparations I need to do? All of these thoughts came into my mind, and I did prepare for them before actually finally taking a leap.
Super. So you had that preparation and learning for that 18 months, and then you got into it, which helped you to start your business easily. Is it?
Exactly, yes. What happens is I come from a family which has been into jobs forever. My
Okay.
grandfather, my father has
So the
always been into
first
jobs.
generation entrepreneur. Yes. Okay.
First generation entrepreneur, so it was even more difficult. So I
Okay.
needed to have that courage and capital both to start my business, and it took me about a year and a half to get the courage as well as capital to get going with my new venture.
Super, super. So, with nobody in family in the entrepreneurial era, like entrepreneur, they don't have any entrepreneur experience from your parent side. Then, when you want to start your own, obviously they can't guide you because they are very new to this also. So
Yes.
you would have
Yes.
faced a lot of challenges with parents can't guide you, and maybe you don't have the right guidance. This happens for all those entrepreneurs in the initial phase. No? So what are some big
Yes.
challenges you faced the moment you started your business, which were
Hmm.
few were expected or mostly it is unexpected? No, so can you just tell about that?
Absolutely. So, coming from a background with no business domain earlier, one of the things was that, you know what, you come with a very limited knowledge of doing business.
Okay.
That's number one. Whatever I had learned in my previous organization of doing business is something I had the knowledge of. But I got a domain knowledge there. That was the most important thing. I was confident of managing my domain well, which is events and exhibitions. That was the first thing. And that is why I decided to
Okay.
start this. The
Okay.
second thing, the challenge which I faced was resources. Initially, resources for an entrepreneur to start with is always a big challenge. You are everybody in the system. You are right from the PM to the managing director. You are doing trying. You initially have to do everything in the system, and you have to accept the fact that you will have to do a lot of these things because resources have to be managed initially. Number one, that was one of the challenges. The second one is that you always have to take care of your finances. Initially, you have invested some money into your business. It cannot be that you start investing too much and you don't know what kind of returns you are getting. So you need to be very careful. And I had to be, that was one of the challenges, that I had to be very careful that I have a family to run. Along with that, I also have to see that my business investments are good and they are returning good returns for that matter. So all of these things were initially a challenge. Another important challenge for me initially was getting credibility and trust from the customers. So what happens is that, initially when you are small, when you are a startup, your customers or the new people whom you are trying to approach do not really trust you instantly that you will be able to handle that kind of a project for them. And they always will look up with an eye of suspicion, and they'll ask me 10 times, can you handle this big project? Can you handle? And it is the zeal and your passion which actually shows them that, what, you will be able to handle this particular thing.
Because we are
Then,
also competing with the top giants in the industry when we start and when we
exactly.
approach some big clients, right?
Yes, that's always a challenge. And the last challenge, and but not the least, of course, is motivation. Motivation is always a challenge which you have to deal with in your starting days. At times, you will realize that, what, where have I come? I was so good at my job only, but then you look at a bright future and say, no, then there is a success. Then you will figure out, wow, this is amazing. So it was a to and fro between, low days and the high days. When you're winning a project, it was a high day. Sometimes you lost a project, it was a low day. So self motivation is a very, very big challenge. And as an entrepreneur, as a person who has just started his business or her business, self motivate, you have to keep yourself motivated. Nobody is going to come, unfortunately, to motivate you. And I think this was one of the challenge. I also felt it some days. Some low days are always there in the entrepreneurial journey. But yes, I came through it, so it was nice for me. Yes.
Okay. So these are all challenges which you may or may not expected, but can you think about mistakes which you did in the initial phase? Because mostly the audience who are watching this video are people who want to start a business.
Yeah.
So they want to minimize their mistakes so that they can come up in the graph so fast. So I want you to
Yes.
share the mistakes which you did in the initial stage when you
Hmm.
started your business.
Absolutely. Like any other person, I also did a lot of mistakes in my in my initial journey, frankly, and I have no hesitation in talking about them because I know that if I talk about certain mistakes which I did, and because of that, all the people who see this video, and if they are able to avoid some of these mistakes, my this
Absolutely.
interview with you is going to
Absolutely.
is
That's
going to
why
help
it's
them
my
tremendously.
standard question with all the entrepreneurs because I want to help them with
Yes,
these are some mistakes which you can avoid. That's an indirect message.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I would like to share that.
Please.
First of all, uh, I did not really adopt any ERP or a lead management system or things like this early on in my business. I thought that, okay, let me just manage it on my Excel sheets and let me just manage it just like that and
So
all
it's
that.
all
And
were
then I'll
manual initially.
it was all a manual job.
Okay.
I did not really think ahead of time that, what, tomorrow when I have 50 customers or 100 customers, is this current system going to go till then? I did not think about that. That was one mistake which I did. I initially did for my company. I did not do a very good branding in terms of a logo and in terms of the profile and all that. I just kept it simple initially. Just thought that, you know what, I will do just like that. I will manage and all that. But you know what, I realized that it is a big difference. Later on, I realized when I changed my branding to my current branding, what it is there, I realized that the credibility becomes so high because of a good branding, a good website, a good card. All these things matter quite a bit in entrepreneur journey. Suddenly your scale, the way you look like to other people because of a good branding tremendously changes. Otherwise it looks very unprofessional if do not have a very great branding. So this was one big mistake which I initially did. I did not keep a very good branding for that matter. Then uh, one of the biggest mistakes which I did was my payment follow-ups, and those systems were not that great. I was very comfortable with people delaying the payments. I did not really push them too hard. Uh, and I can tell you frankly, I did lose money because of that. Some of the people who I was not able to follow up, I was not taking advances from these people. One, it was putting a lot of impact on my finances. But second, it also had a big impact on my company's growth, because our growth was stunted by no payments or less payments, or some customers actually did not pay at all to us. And it was all because I did not do proper documentation while making a while doing a project for them, you know. So this was one of my biggest learnings uh, from the mistakes which I have done for that matter. And uh, and the key things that can be done on your own, like finances, etc., has to be handed over to experts, which you cannot do. Some of the things there are there in the in a particular company which cannot be done. All the things you cannot do yourself. Soon, once you have gone away off your initial starting process, there are certain things which have to be given to specialists, like for example finances or chartered accountancy related work and all that. You know, by paying a small amount, you can hire a good chartered accountant, let them do these professional jobs. You don't need to get into it, because once you get involved into it, you are wasting your time there, while you are not focusing on your main product or a
So
main business and
over a period of
reaching out.
time in business, time becomes more precious than the money which we spend to
Absolutely.
outsource, right? Yes.
Absolutely. So absolutely. I realized it later. Of course, I would say initially I did not realize it, but I kept doing the things. But later on, I realized that it was very important for me to bring in the specialists at a time when the things which was not supposed to be done by me eventually. Yes. So these were some of the things. These were some of the mistakes which I did for that matter.
Super. So you have given a big list of challenges and mistakes. Super.
Yes.
So
Yes.
now,
Yes.
if you have to give some suggestions to our members, like because as I
Hmm.
told you, they're all looking to start a business and they have a lot of
Yes.
questions in their head. So can you give some suggestions or tips from your 20 years of entrepreneurial journey? Can you give
Okay.
suggestions?
All right. Certainly, yes. In fact, the some of the things which you have actually asked me in the past 10 minutes, the challenges and the mistakes, a lot of my suggestions and advices are going to come through that only, Guna.
Okay.
So
Answers
first of
for
all,
that, those mistakes and challenges, right?
yes.
Okay.
So it is literally going to be the answers for those mistakes and
Okay.
challenges.
Okay. Okay.
First of all, you need to adopt some of the systems as soon as possible. The ERP or a learning management system. These days, you have per user packs available at as low as 500, 600 rupees a month. You
Right.
know, adopt these systems. Look at any particular system as if you are handling 100 customers, even if you're handling one right now. Look at that system as you're handling 100 customers, because it will help you scale up pretty fast. But because these are the scale up challenges, right now we are in the phase of a thing where we are starting up. We don't realize it, but you
Right.
know what? If this startup phase cannot remain for long, you have to go on to the scale up phase. And if you do not adopt these systems, the scale up phase gets delayed and delayed and delayed. So I realized it, and I soon after realizing this, adopted this system, the ARPs and the learning management systems and all that, the lead management system for that matter, due to which I was able to scale up to the level we are. And I'm going to share some of the things which I have been able to do. Number one. Number two is that be always very, very frugal in spending. Be very careful in how much you spend. Suddenly, a good project comes your way. You have earned good money out of that, and you start thinking, you know what? Let's spend now. I haven't spent in for years because of my startup journey, and I have not spent anything because I was starting up, and suddenly there's big money which has come up into my pocket because of a big project I have closed. It's time to spend. No, you have to be very, very careful. You have to reinvest in your business for some time so that you can make sure that your business supports well. And you also have to save for rainy days. You have to save for COVID days, for that matter. Cases like the situations like COVID which have come up, it impacts big time on your finances, your payments to your salaries to your employees and all that. So you always have to save timely, and do not overspend with regards to your business. Then another thing which I would like to tell, and I've said it earlier, is always brand yourself and your company really well. Very, very important. You cannot afford to let go not marketing your company well, not showcase your company well, because if you do not showcase well, people do not see you as a credible company. If you know so Even if you have to hire a branding agency, or just to make sure that you look good on paper, and website and social media presence and all that, uh, it will pay up much more than just the branding cost, frankly. So do brand yourself well, and beyond a certain point of time, hand over the professional jobs to professional people rather than you getting involved into the micro things. Initially, yes, it is important for you to get involved, get a hang of each and every department, so that nobody can fool you later.
Yeah.
That's very, very important. But later on, as soon as you are able to go up forward, you need to get into the professionalism mode with that. Later on, you need to also develop new products, keep innovating. While first thing what you need to do, even before you innovate a new product, if you are starting a new business, you should always look at how you can differentiate yourself from the others. What is your USP, what we call it as unique selling proposition? All right, and why customers will buy from you apart from all the other similar kind of products and services which are there in the industry already, which you are now bringing to the table, right? It's a similar product you are bringing, it's a similar service you are bringing. Why will they buy from you? Why will they shift for you, that matter? And here, differentiating yourself from the others is the key thing. So always look at how you can differentiate, so that you can be seen as one who's going to really make a difference to the product or a service you are going to deliver. So I think these are some of the things which as a startup, when you're starting a new company, can really take you places, for that matter.
Super, super. So I think that is a big fat list for all the aspiring entrepreneurs on what to do and what not to do. Thank you very much for
Yes.
sharing all that. And initially, you were sharing with me about the recent app which you launched. Can you just
Yes.
brief about what is that and how it can help people who are in the events industry?
All right. Yes, absolutely. I'm actually very excited to share about this app. So this particular app is called the Sero Visitor Management App. It's an exhibition visitor management app.
Okay.
One of the biggest challenge in the exhibition industry is that till today, in fact, in Indian exhibition industry and a lot of other countries as well, the visitors, there is people who are on the stalls, who are exhibitors. They do not have a well-defined system of tracking the visitors who come onto their booth. That's number one. And the communication actually never happens to them, or it will happen to them much later, at a much later date. Till today, we are still following up a visitor book and the cards attaching to the
Yes.
visitor book system,
Yes.
which is the biggest problem. What we have done is that we have brought in a revolutionizing app, which is going to capture the visitor data right at the point of origin, right at the stall, and even before the visitor has left the booth, within seconds, a mail will actually go to the visitor saying that thank you very much for visiting our booth. And as you were interested in this product, out of the 20 products which you may have on your booth, if
Wow.
they had shown interest in a specific product, it will send them a specific product email that please find it as the PDF of this particular product you were interested in.
Super.
So what you have done, one, you have captured the data. The second, you have communicated with the visitor instantly. Not only that, you will also be able to track with regards to your team, which team member has collected how many leads today. So you get your team's efficiency in real time. Along with that, in real time, you get to see which product of yours is the highlight of your exhibition. So a lot of these things we are trying to capture through this. And this is an app which is available on App Store, the Apple iStore, as well as on Android Play Store. Yes, I am pretty excited that we have, and this is something new which is doesn't exist in the market. So I am pretty excited to launch this particular app, which in the system. Yes,
Super. So I think this will make the communication very effective, and they will exactly get whatever data they want in just few minutes, and they can take a quick decision also. So
absolutely,
I think
absolutely.
this is going to help all those exhibitors who have stalls to quickly do the sales and to quickly get hold on to their customers. So this is going to rock.
Absolutely.
All the very best
Yeah.
for this app and
Thank you.
for the development of this. And before we
Thank you.
close, one last thing. You can tell one suggestion or tip either for an aspiring entrepreneur or for an aspiring entrepreneur who want to start an event business like you.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay.
Either it
So,
can be for general aspiring entrepreneurs or it can be aspiring entrepreneurs in your industry.
all right.
I will leave
So
it to
I
you.
would say that, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I would be more than happy to talk about it. Another thing which I haven't really covered in my previous things is follow up with your prospects, follow up on your sales. A lot of times, what we do is that, we get a referral, we get a query, and we follow up with them for some time, and then we lose the follow up. Then we stop the follow up. Do not just go ahead with it, and then we are busy with something else. Then we are busy with something else. Uh, while we know that the best of the sales close at the fifth place, fifth contact is the time when the 80% chances of getting the sale close. A lot of us lose hope and then do not really contact them until after a second time or a third time.
We
You
forget
cannot
them.
afford
We
to do that.
forget them and move on to new customers. Like we start
Exactly.
marketing for fresh leads.
Yes, yes. We move on from one to the other, but we do not forget that we should not forget that these people who got a lead, who got a referral of ours, and then we were able to connect with them, they still have a lot of scope with us. So we need to keep following up with them. That is one of the definite keys of building better business opportunities in your startup or in any phase of your business. Follow up is always a key. Yes.
Super. So fortune lies in the follow-up is the message, the final
Yes.
message from Gagan. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Gagan. In the short interview, you have covered so much points, which is going to be definitely a super takeaway for all those who watched this video. So thank you very much for joining for this Startup Stories episode and sharing your entrepreneurial experience and a lot of tips to our entrepreneurs. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Pleasure, Guna. Pleasure is absolutely mine. And as I said earlier, that if because of the mistakes and the challenges which I have seen and done, and if people are able to learn something out of it, it is something which is an amazing feeling that people are able to learn from our mistakes. And I was more than happy to share them. And thank you very much for inviting me to talk about it. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you, audience, for watching. Please share this video. It will be really helpful for all the aspiring entrepreneurs to learn from successful entrepreneurs' mistakes and challenges. So don't forget to share. I will meet you in the next Startup Stories episode with another successful entrepreneur to share their successful entrepreneur journey. So thank you very much. See you in the next video. Thank you.